Oh, it felt so good to hear that opening again. You guys read the description and you hear the music, you know what's going on. Let's get to the show. The show starts and Buddy's out there. They got an old school feel to it, but it wasn't original old school, but it was modern day old school, if that makes sense. And the body comes out. What I thought was cool was he was wearing that snake skin long thing that he wore at WrestleMania 3 when Hogan fought Andre. It was the same one. I couldn't believe he still had it. He looks good. He still sounds good. Voice cracked a little bit when he was yelling to the crowd and stuff, but it was wicked to see Jesse Ventura back. And that song, man, it was so good to hear that song. Like, I didn't care as Saturday night's main event went on, and I'm sure it had to do with copyrights. That obsession they had to get rid of for that do 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 beep 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 beep. They had to go to that because I'm sure it was all copyright shit, and whoever wrote the original song wanted money or more money or whatever, and that's why they changed it. But it was wicked to hear Obsession back. Pat McAfee came out, which was, I've always liked Pat McAfee. I just love his energy. Like, considering he was a total non-wrestling guy, he was a kicker for the fucking Colts, but a huge wrestling fan, and having his own podcast and everything that, you know, like it's, when he first came out, I was like, who is this clown? But then just seeing the way, like, all right, he works for the company. He does play-by-play commentary. It's his energy, and he's just so into it. I've liked him from day one just because of his energy. He's awesome. Did you hear what he said about Dominic Mysterio? I can't remember if it was it Monday night or 2 Monday nights ago? Michael Cole looked at him and said, "What did he say to you, Pat?" "I don't know. He was saying this and that or whatever. I don't speak, bitch." Fucking love Pat McAfee.
And I mean, like, you know, you hit on the music, you hit on the intro, Jesse coming back. Like, when that all started and like the show starts and they show the Jumbotron in the Nassau Coliseum, and it's the WW logo, but it's like the old school WWF logo.
That's right.
That was like reliving our childhood for me.
I was still at work when that show went live. I was literally just getting ready to leave the shop when you texted me. And I still remember exactly where I was standing. I was in front of the filing cabinets. And you were like, "It's our childhood all over, man." And I got in that truck. And for anyone that doesn't know me, I work 7 days on, then I'm off 7 days. So I work half the year. I blow shit up for a living. So I work up in the mountains. So it's a 15 to 20 minute drive down the mountain in a pickup. I did it in 12. And then once I get down, I sign out at security and I get on the highway. It's a 15-minute drive back to the crew house. I did it in 9. So ran in the door. And of course, where we stay, the company that I work with, I won't say who it is, cheap out, and we have pretty shitty TV. So I took my Xbox, and we have Fire Sticks all through the house that I pay some money and I get everything. Figured out how to set it up on my Xbox. That's what I watched it on. So by the time I got home, it was, I want to say the Liv Morgan Rhea Ripley match was on, or sorry, Io Sky. So I missed the first little bit. When you saw this match as it happened because I was driving. First match was McIntyre and Sami Zayn. So when I actually went back and watched the replay of this, now that I'm not the biggest Sammy fan at all.
Mm-hmm.
Never was. With the bloodline, yes. On his own, no. There were a couple of cool high spots. The match actually had a good pace. I was surprised. I know there was only a handful of matches, but I was kind of surprised they started with that. I honestly thought that the Women's World Heavyweight Championship match would have kicked off the show, because I was just, and have 75% of the time I'm in the frame of mind that a women's match will set a better pace than a Sami Zayn match of any kind.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what I think of Sami Zayn. No disrespect to Sammy, but I just don't think you're that good, dude. But the match really, really surprised me. It was, considering it was Drew McIntyre, the match was kind of back and forth, I thought. But in the end, Drew hits Claymore, gets the win. It was a good pace. And like I said, I don't like Sammy matches, but this one was actually good. I thought, what was your take on on that being the first match, and what did you think of the quality of the match?
I like the pace. You brought up the pace of the match itself. I thought it was an okay match. What I don't like about what they're doing with Drew right now is that he's feuding with almost too many people, but they're all connected with the bloodline.
I'm going to touch on that when you're done talking here. I've got a scenario for you.
Okay. Yeah, it just kind of seems like they're going in way too many directions with Drew. But again, it all comes back to people that are connected with the bloodline. And I get that Drew wants to hurt anyone that was involved, and like Jay is yeeting all over the place now. He's over with the fans, and Jimmy is too. But
Jimmy's more just kind of jumping on
there.
Yeah, Jimmy's got a
yeah,
and I like Jimmy. I do like Jimmy. Called an audible. I ran the play. I like Jimmy, but he's got to find
his thing.
Yeah, I don't want the Usos back together. Not yet. Not yet as a tag team. Jimmy is still too hot, and Jay is too hot and selling too much merch, yeeting all over the crowd. That sounded really fucking bad. But he's too hot, selling too much merch. So, but even if he wasn't, I don't want to see them back together yet. Eventually, I know they will. But anyway, keep going.
No, I mean, overall, I thought that the match was okay. I will say that Sammy's matches as of late, I've liked them a little bit more.
He's getting more of an edge.
He is. He's getting more of an edge. All in all, the match itself was good. I don't like the direction that they're going in with McIntyre, where he's feuding with way too many people at one time.
I agree with you.
I mean, now he's, coming out and hugging Cody on SmackDown and, watch your back and all this kind of bullshit. Like he's dipping his spoon in too many jars.
Well,
that's my take on McIntyre.
I mean, I don't know how they're doing it. He was always known as the Scottish psychopath and kind of got away from that persona. Maybe that's something they're trying to bring back. That, okay, well, he's supposed to be a psychopath, so let's just make him fight everybody. And this Cody thing, that I don't know where that's going to go. I don't know where this Cody thing is going. I know the world heavyweight, the WWE title is in the mix there somewhere. But right. I think before Randy Orton got hurt, I think they were going to do a double cross with Randy. That's the feeling I got. Because Randy was almost getting like too much lovey-dovey with Cody. And then next thing you know, RKO, I'm coming after your belt. Then Randy got hurt. Kevin Owens is just going to come at you like a wrecking ball. So it's not like they could, I'm going to turn my back on you. He turned his back on him, but it was like a wrecking ball. With Drew, it's like they're setting it up. And because even Cody kind of looks like, should I trust him?
There's a little psychological thing going on there.
Yeah. It's hard to tell what's going on. Now, with him feuding, like you said, with too many people at one time, I say there's a faction coming. For sure, him and Seth Rollins are going to team up.
You think?
I think so, because Seth Rollins despises the bloodline, despises Roman Reigns. Drew McIntyre despises Roman Reigns. And if it wasn't for different shows, I'd throw Kevin Sullivan in the, or Kevin Sullivan, Kevin Owens in the mix and have them guys together as a faction. Because there's too much hate towards the bloodline from three major players. Kevin Owens is on SmackDown. Now, I don't even know how relevant the brands are anymore, because they're just kind of showing up back and forth all over the place now.
You're getting crossovers.
Yeah. So, but as far as just Raw, brand SmackDown, Rollins and McIntyre are on the same brand. So they're both on Raw. So is it Raw or SmackDown? I'm getting confused now.
Rollins is on Raw.
Okay. So is Drew. Drew is as well then. So
I think
so.
Yes.
And again, I could be wrong because there's so much back and forth, but Rollins can't stand Roman Reigns or the bloodline. Seth Rollins doesn't really talk about the bloodline, but can't stand Roman Reigns. So, and then all of a sudden, and who teamed with them at Survivor Series? CM Punk. Who comes out? Drew McIntyre is in the ring, or comes out when Seth Rollins and CM Punk are bitching at one another. Again, Punk team with them, and then you got two other guys that can't stand Roman Reigns. I don't know. Just throwing that out there, but we're getting off track. It's something to think about. Where are we at? The next match was and this is when I got home, was the women's world title match. Liv Morgan and Io Sky. Again, the match had an amazing pace, and what I was surprised at was Io Sky pretty much controlled 70% of that match. Mm-hmm. in the opening, say 5 to 8 minutes. It was all Io Sky. She seems to have changed her style a little bit. She's more high flying, I find, and a little bit more impactful than she was. The match, for the most part, not for the most part, it was good again, and it was a good pace match. The high point of that match, I don't know if you remember it, they were in the center of the ring. Liv was on her knees, I think, and Io came with that knee and clocked her right in the face. I was watching that. You could just see her eyebrows and her lipstick and everything just quiver back and forth when Io Sky hit her with that knee, and she went down. I was like, Jesus Christ. I know she's got a little bit of padding on her knee, but that made fucking contact. But in the end, it was, Dirty Dom does his thing. She hits Oblivion, retains the women's championship. And on the way back, of course, Rhea Ripley comes out, pointing her finger. Liv does what every other diva does, or I can't call them divas, what every other women's champion does. And divas before that, they just have to lift the belt and not say anything. I absolutely can't stand that, because you never see the men do that. It's just the women just, yep, I have this, and I'm not going to say anything. The match was good. I liked it. What was your takeaway from the Io Sky Liv Morgan championship match?
I thought it was a good match. Like you said, high flying. I find with Io the last while, it's almost like the way you said that she controlled probably 75% of the match
in the first. It's like 5 to 8 minutes. Yeah.
It's like the way that she performs in the ring now. It's almost like a controlled chaos. Like she's doing flips, she's jumping here, she's doing that. I'm like, there's going to be a botch. There has to be a botch here somewhere.
There hasn't
But
been yet, though.
there hasn't been yet. And I mean, she's just, I mean, I was never really much of a fan of hers,
I
but
was a while ago, back when Bailey was in Damage Control still.
oh
I
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
a big fan of EO Sky. And when she got that championship, I thought she was going to have a hell of a run, but she really didn't.
She really
The
didn't.
championship, she was better without the title than when she had it.
Yeah. Um, no, I mean, overall, I thought the match was okay. I mean, not okay. It was a good match. Um, Getting tired of Dirty Dom doing what Dirty Dom does. I mean, and we've talked about this before, man. I mean, people tune in to watch him get his ass beat. You know, that's what people do. They tune in to watch him get fed something, and then he does something with that greasy mustache of his, and he wiggles things out. Liv ends up getting the win. I mean, going back to it, like I said, I wasn't really much of a fan of EO before, but she's growing on me. She's
Yeah.
growing on me. Her
Yeah.
her style in the ring, it's like I said, it's a controlled chaos.
I think she's hot as hell, too. But when you talk about Dirty Dom, I don't know what they're doing with him. He has potential. He's easy to hate. He's very easy to hate. He's got a ton of
You,
heat.
you remember
Latino
you
heat.
remember you remember Eddie Guerrero at the peak of Eddie Guerrero.
Yes.
Like
I loved
dude,
Eddie
dude,
Guerrero.
dude would come out of that dressing room, man. He'd be walking that aisle, and short of someone coming up and shanking him, like that's the kind of heat that Dom has right now.
I want him, but see, he doesn't need a girl by his side. And I want to
No,
see, and now obviously if you caught SmackDown, him and Liv are kind of on outs a little bit. And I want to see, I mean, it's inevitable. The Judgment Day is just going to break up in general,
yeah,
but him and Liv also are on borrowed time. I'll be surprised if after Survivor Series, there's still a thing, if that's still part of a storyline. But I want to see them get him away from the female, like, oh, I'm with someone.
yeah,
Like, okay, it's time for you to go out. You have to find an angle on your own now.
yes. Get him out of the faction.
Yeah, like, because like I said, and it's obvious to everyone. Well, at least it's obvious to me. I shouldn't say everyone, that the Judgment Day is they're on their way out. And you know what's funny? I got home last night and I was watching Raw. Uh, and they had Carlito and who's the bobblehead? JD McDonough. Is that his name?
Oh, JD. Yes.
Adrian looked at me and she said, "What's up with that guy's body and the size of his head?" I was like, I said, Dalton and I call him the bobblehead. I don't know. I got a feeling, and I keep looking at them. Are him and Finn Balor related? I see
I
similarities in them.
I know. Well, Finn trained him
Oh, okay.
overseas. He trained him in Ireland
Okay.
at his wrestling school. That's probably along the same line. Now, looks wise, I can't speak to that, but their style in the ring is very similar. Kind of like when you go back and look at Stampede Wrestling, Bret Hart wrestled the same as Davey Boy and
Well, no,
Dynamite.
I'm even talking like facial wise. Like I look at the eyes, I see similarities. Like he's got like Eddie Wallace' father, the Archbishop eyebrows, where Finn Balor doesn't. You know, like I don't know. But again, we're getting off subject. But yeah, Dirty Dom, when the Judgment Day is done, I want to see him get even more heat and just go further without a female involved. So what about the match itself? Did you like the match for the
I
women's
thought the match
championship?
was I thought the match was good. Um, Liv was Liv. you know what you're getting with her in terms of a match.
Oh hell yeah.
Um, uh, no, I thought Io brought it. Um, she's like you said, she's using a lot more aerial. I mean, she's what do they call her? The Queen of the Sky or something like that.
Yep.
She uses her
And she is.
aerial moves really well.
What I love about her in
Um,
the air is it's so controlled.
it
Like
is.
it almost seems like when she's in the air and she's coming down, it's not like she comes down fast and just splat. It's like I don't know, it's weird. It's almost like she can control her own momentum and the speed that she comes down at. It's just it's cool.
Yes.
It's cool to see.
Yes, very much so. No, overall, I thought that match was okay. Um, I will say I thought like for all the hype that was going into the main event, and I mean we're going to talk about the other matches here and everything else that went on during that Saturday night's main event, but I thought for the hype that was going into it, I kind of felt like there should have been more, if that makes any sense. Like
It does.
the show in general, the
It
show in
does.
general.
There was a lot of, and people said the same thing about the first Raw on Netflix, especially
Yeah,
that one.
yeah,
They hyped it up almost like a WrestleMania, and they're really as good as the matches were. There wasn't really a whole lot to talk about. They had a whole lot of vignettes, like backstage, or not backstage, but back storytelling.
yeah.
It was like too much of that. It's, yeah, I agree with you 100%. Enjoyed the shit out of the show,
Oh yeah.
but we'll elaborate on that more as we go on through the card. The next match, fuck. Okay, so you know where I'm going to go with this. The Women's United States Championship final. Chelsea Green and I'm gonna keep. I keep calling her Mia Yim. I can't call her that other fucking name, Mishin or whatever the hell they call her.
Yep.
I am not even going to talk about this match. I'll give it over to you. Chelsea Green won the United States Championship. Fuck me. What did you think of the match? I'm not even talking about it because you know how I feel about Chelsea Green. I don't want to waste any oxygen on her.
I knew going into this match that Chelsea was winning it. I
Yeah, me
knew
too.
I knew for I mean Triple H.
I think I texted that to you as soon as like the entrances started. I was like, "This fucking bitch is gonna win. You watch."
I mean, we've been surprised before. Like Triple H has pulled some stuff out of his ass before, and like we've had some oh shit or oh fuck moments. Um, being under his regime. So I was just like, Chelsea's walking away with this, but there's always that 2% that maybe Triple H is going to like pull something out of his ass, and Mishin is going to end up winning this. But I was very confident going into this match. I was like, Chelsea's going to win. Um, it just seemed like they've been giving her a bit of a push the last while.
Well, yeah.
A lot more TV time and interviews, and she's kind of distancing herself a little bit away from Piper. That's 2 cents from me.
You know what?
That's
I would
that.
love to see Piper go after that U.S. title. Like Piper is a bigger lady, but man,
Yep.
she's an athlete and she can move. And you know what?
Oh, she can.
She can wrestle. Like she could get
She
in the
can.
ring and go with the guys. I would love to see that just to see her fucking squash Chelsea Green in 3 seconds and take that title. Fuck, I hate
And
Chelsea Green.
you know what? I won't be surprised if that's the angle that they're going to go with, because Chelsea's starting. Not that she didn't have a big head about herself before, but now since she's the new women's U.S. champion,
Yeah.
I got a funny feeling that she's just going to rub Piper the wrong way, and it's going to cause a rift, and Piper's going to go after the title. The match itself, I didn't think there was anything great that took place in it.
There
I
wasn't,
mean,
because she can't fucking wrestle. And you know what? People have said that, well, that's her job. You're supposed to hate her because she's arrogant. No, I fucking hate her because she gets too much airtime and she's very untalented. That's why I fucking hate her. She could be absolutely gorgeous. The Bella twins, Brie Bella or Nikki Bella, wasn't super hard to look at. Couldn't wrestle worth a fucking lick. Skip, 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 skip. It fucking, but Chelsea Green has taken it. At least the Bellas got better a little bit. Chelsea Green is awful. She's awful. She's good at being, she's not bad on the mic. I'll give her that. She's easy to hate. Oh, she's an arrogant bitch, and like she's conceited, blah, 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 blah. Well, of course, she's a heel. That's her job. She is good on that. But once that bell rings, she botches every second or third move. She can't deliver. She's too soft. She can't sell worth a shit. She can't take a move. Like, it's just, anyway, sorry, I cut you off to rant. Go ahead.
oh, you're good, man. You're good. It's funny that you brought up the Bellas because when they had the introduction of Raw on Netflix and they were like going around ringside and showing like all the superstars from today and yesterday and Nikki Bella came up on there. I said to Tara, I'm just like, I bet Doug's loving this.
Oh, fuck. John Cena's plastic girlfriend. Holy Jesus Christ.
I honestly, like, going back to the match, I wasn't really impressed with the match at all. I kind of like, and that's probably due to me just thinking like she's winning this match. They're not putting the belt on Michin.
No, of course not. Which sucks because Michin is a way better wrestler.
She can go, man.
She's a way better wrestler. She was always good. She was always really good. But anyway, I'm not wasting any more valuable internet time or oxygen on Chelsea Green because fuck. Where are we at? Jesus Christ. All right. So the WWE Undisputed Championship, Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens. And this is what we all waited to see, was Cody to walk out wearing the winged eagle, which he did. I was so excited, and I looked, and as soon as I looked at the belt, I said, that's a fucking replica belt.
Yep.
It is a replica belt.
It still had the hologram on the back of it, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. Like, there was a debate in the wrestling groups that were in the belt groups, I should say. No, that's real leather. Blah, 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 blah. No, the straps are a little smaller. They're not as long as the real belts. Okay, first of all, Cody is like 219 pounds with a slim waist. They might not fit you because you're a fat fuck. That is a replica belt. There's no doubt about it. The leather was you could see that not only the hologram, you could see that stitched part that's on the back where the leather just sticks out like a sore thumb, showing like the date and the year and who made it and, like all the copyright shit. Whatever. Okay. It's still the winged eagle. Still the winged eagle.
It was still awesome to see.
Yes. I just thought it was hilarious that WWE couldn't. I mean, they've got a shop there, the warehouse, that's basically a museum. And I'm sure you've got at least one winged eagle in that shop. And you couldn't dig. They've got a crate. I watched. They've got a crate, like a roadie crate for a rock concert, full of championship belts. You're telling me you don't have a winged eagle that you couldn't give to Cody to wear out for one night? And then if you want to keep this Kevin Owens thing going, we'll get to that in a bit. I'm not going to go into that yet. But you couldn't give Cody a real winged eagle belt to wear to the ring? Come on.
They probably couldn't do that because, I'm sure they probably have them.
Oh, yeah, but they would have the WWF logo, I guess.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. I was just going to say that. Now, having said that, like if they were planning this leading up, now we've been in the belt buying business for fucking years.
Yeah.
You introduced me
Yeah.
back into wrestling, and I'll throw that out there as well. So for us to get a belt made by a maker, 4 to 6 weeks, give or take,
That's fair.
around there,
Yep.
average. A big
Closer.
corporation like
If it's a CNC belt, which is one of the best belts you can get, gold plating, really nice leather. Yeah, you're looking 6 weeks. We'll say
6 weeks.
6 to 7 weeks, and not super expensive. The guys we go through, a CNC belt on nice leather with gold plating, even dual plated, will run you absolute tops $550 US.
Yeah. So if they knew going into, I mean, how long were they advertising Saturday night's main event?
Oh Jesus, 2 months,
2 months, easy. You know that you're going to be bringing the Winged Eagle back for Cody, and as Hunter said, one night only. One night. Wouldn't you go ahead and have a real one done up as opposed to just grabbing one from the shop, which they probably just like took from the arena store?
literally.
Like, if you want to have that authentic feel, like I can go and look at my World Heavyweight Championship that I bought in Ottawa at Raw, and the plates are great. The plating is amazing on that thing. Still waiting for my Seth Rollins plates. But like looking at the leather on that Winged Eagle, the minute that Cody came out and he opened up his robe, and I looked at that, I'm like, that's a shop replica.
Yep.
The first thing that I saw, because I looked at my World Heavyweight Championship, and that's a shop belt, and it's got the exact same leather thing on the back with the hologram. I'm like, guys, you're kind of doing this whole moment dirty. And the spacing on the plates.
Yeah, I know.
When little Nate held it up at the start of the match, I'm like, oh.
Yep, the leather is all gone. The leather is all gone. So, okay. So they, in our opinion, they kind of dropped the ball on the Winged Eagle. Still cool to see it back on Saturday night's main event, nonetheless. The match. What did you think of the match?
I'll be honest with you. Like there were some. It was a good match. Don't get me wrong.
It had good intensity. It had good intensity. It had good intention.
It did.
But I keep going back and I'll keep saying it, but it's Cody Rhodes. I thought Kevin Owens did great. He did his part. It's just
it's KO. You know what you're getting with a KO match. You're going to get stuff off the top rope. You're going to get your cannonballs. You're going to get you're going to get your stunners.
Kevin Owens made John Cena look great.
Yeah.
But I love the intensity. Jesse and I'll say this, the body sounded amazing doing play-by-play in this match.
Oh my God.
It was like we were right back to the late 80s and into the 90s. He sounded fantastic.
When Cody was going to hit the crossroads on the steel chair, and Jesse's like, he's going to cheat to win. I'm like, that's the Jesse the Body that we all love it.
Yes.
We all know and love. Like it felt like he was back.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't forced. It was just like, I'm a heel. I'm going to play my role. And the only thing that was missing, I was hoping that Stephanie was going to come out and do a little bit of color or play-by-play or whatever, just so he could say, listen, McMahon, just to get that in for old time's sake.
No kidding. He was in great form when he was just with that guy, when they were talking about like matches and what had happened when they were standing in that booth. I was like, I wish he was doing color commentary. That'd be friggin' wicked. And then when he was ringside for this match, it was just off the scale. I fucking loved it.
for me, Jesse being on the show like that was the bee's knees for me, man. Like
you cannot have
him.
Saturday night's main event without Jesse Ventura.
No, the only thing that was missing, aside from the McMahon thing, was having Mean Gene there. But Jesse made up for everything.
Absolutely.
Like him being there, the boas and everything. Holy Christ! Like I mean, it's the body was back.
So as the match goes, I'll be honest with you. I thought the intensity was good, but it was lacking on not Kevin Owens, on Cody Rhodes' part. I didn't think anything cool really happened in that match until the first referee went down.
Yeah.
Then they keep doing their thing. Then the second referee goes down. And Cody hits the crossroads on the chair, blah, 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 retains the title. I was kind of pissed. I mean, I expected Cody to win, but I was still kind of pissed that he actually did win, even though I figured he would, because I knew this story is going somewhere else. Royal Rumble at this point is a month and a half away, something like that. I figured something would happen. But what nobody saw was what happened when NBC went off the air. Kevin Owens comes from behind, hits him with that, I'll call it a cradle pile driver, is the best way I can describe it, which looks super fucking cool. Anything Kevin Owens does looks good. He takes the winged eagle, he's walking back, and then they didn't even show it on WWE TV. Everything I saw of this was on YouTube. Triple H came out and started shoving Kevin Owens and stuff, which was cool. Gave it a little bit of a real feel, right? So I keep going back to this winged eagle because it just pisses me off. No, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'll just go to my takeaways from the match. So that was the main event. Now, there's another Saturday night's main event in San Antonio on, I don't even remember the date. It's this month, but I don't remember the date that Saturday night's main event. I think it's closer to the end of the month. Can't remember.
It's coming up.
I hope this is what I'm hoping. Do you remember how excited we were? Like when they first announced Saturday night's main event was coming back to NBC before it actually happened. And then the night of, like I had goosebumps on my arms, especially when I rewatched the whole thing back. It's been how many years since Saturday night's main event has been on TV? Like that's something we look forward to so much as kids, because it was only, oh my God, there might have been one every 4 or 5 months. Like,
do you remember how pissed that we would be? Like, sneak downstairs at night. Mom and dad are asleep in their bedroom. The living room was literally across the hallway. We'd close the door.
Yeah.
Cue up NBC, and then all of a sudden, live from New York, it's Saturday night, and we'd look at each other. What the fuck is this bullshit?
Well, because we were kids. We thought it was because at the end of the show on the credits, it was called Once a Month Productions. So we just assumed it was on every month, but it wasn't. It was only on every. There was only about 3 Saturday night main events a year, 4 tops. Yep. This is what they have to do. This was an event. This was an extravaganza. They need something for people to look forward to. They have to treat this like a mini WrestleMania, because that was the feel building up to it in December when it came back. Oh, yeah. They don't, I really, really, really hope they don't do this every month and keep going with it, because it's going to be stale. It's going to be just like another pay-per-view is all it's going to be. And eventually the matches themselves, I think personally, the matches and the quality is going to drop. They have to keep it a spectacle every few months. Don't do it every month. Don't fucking do it every month. You got to keep this special. Give it for something for people to look forward to. They know it's coming every month. It's just not going to be cool for the fans. The bloom is going to be off that fucking rose real quick.
if you look at the programming right now, I mean, okay, so SmackDown is still they're still on Peacock, right?
Uh,
It was
everything.
just Raw that
No, Raw is on Netflix as well. Or Raw and SmackDown are both on Netflix.
okay. So
I don't know if I don't have Peacock. Well, I do.
okay,
I just don't watch it. So I don't
gotcha.
know if they're still airing or not.
So the last SmackDown that I watched, it's it was 3 hours. 3 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything's back to
So
3 hours now.
so now I watched an interview. It's about a 15-minute interview on YouTube where Buddy's interviewing Triple H, and they were talking about the move to Netflix, and they were talking about time constraints. Like, are we going to still stick with like a 3 hour program and all this kind of stuff? And basically, what Triple H had said is that they could go 2.5 hours, they could go 40 minutes. It all depends on the content that they have. Like,
That's right.
do we have enough stuff that we can actually justify having a 3 hour show? If so, okay, we'll go 3 hours. If not, then we're not gonna shove filler down the fan's throat.
That's
So
right.
that's the freedom that they're gonna have with the Netflix deal.
Which
So
is
that's
funny
cool.
because the first Raw had a handful of matches the same as Saturday night's main event, and that was 3 fucking hours.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that. That's going to be our next show is the first Raw preview on Netflix. We'll get into that more in depth. But yeah, of course they're going to have content, but it's still filler. He can call it whatever he wants. I think it's still going to be filler. I
Yeah.
just don't want it to be watered down like I thought Raw and SmackDown were both better when they went back to 2 hours.
100%.
Now but
Absolutely.
at the same time, the roster is so big. There's guys being cut out too. So I understand why they would go back to 3 hours because realistically, if you already have TV time in place, it's probably cheaper to get that extra hour than to pay these guys what you're paying them and not put them on television with a storyline.
Yeah.
My takeaway on it. So that was the end of Saturday night's main event. Just a little side note. When I made these notes, we were supposed to do this show weeks ago. It just didn't happen. When I made these notes, there was something came out about Miss Grant and her lawsuit against WWE, Vince McMahon, and John Laurinaitis. She has amended the lawsuit. There were no details given. Now, I know recently it came out, I think you sent me the link that Vince McMahon was cleared of any wrongdoing about supposed hush money that he had given out. It was supposedly an accounting error.
Yeah, he was being fined or something like that for not reporting it, the money or something like that to the rest of the stooges that at the time within WWE. Um, I haven't come across any other details about that aside from Vince basically saying it's done. We're basically moving on. There was an accountant uh, uh, mishap where certain stuff wasn't reported, and he was going to be given some kind of a fine. Now, I don't know if that was dealing with the Janelle Grant situation.
Well, what I found about her, like you sent me that this week or like a few
Yeah,
days, we'll say 3 days ago, just for
a couple
argument's
days
sake.
ago. Yep.
When I made these notes, this was about 2 weeks ago. So, and I came across this, I'll give it a plug. The website is called 411 Wrestling. They released it. Uh, Anybody listening at the time, all it was she was amending her lawsuit against Vince McMahon, WWE, and John Laurinaitis. I call him Funk Man. But it wasn't known what the changes were, what the amendments were to the lawsuit. No one knew. Now, I haven't looked into it since. Again, that was about 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
The information you sent me was about 3 days ago, roughly. Her name was not mentioned in any of this money that was paid out or the supposed accounting error or anything like that. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next few weeks, if it's leaked or if it comes out in the weeks and months ahead, what this amendment is. Because that tells me that the two sides have been talking through litigation. Mm-hmm. And that tells me one thing. There's going to be some kind of accusation or charge dropped against Vince McMahon. That's the only, I mean, if she's going after him, WWE, and John Laurinaitis, why would she amend anything if she wasn't getting close to getting a deal of some kind?
Well, there's going to be some kind of a deal.
I'm not a lawyer by any means, but for me, just common sense tells me, all right, she's going to come down and something to get something that she wants out of it. That's just me. I don't know. Could be totally wrong, but that's what I get out of that. Like, if you're going with the accusations and everything, and we did a show on this, with all the accusations that were out about her, or not about her, about Vince McMahon, accusations that she made against Vince McMahon, why would you amend anything? What's your purpose for amending? It's obviously to, okay, well, if you get rid of this, we'll give you that.
Yep.
So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. Again, it's been quiet in the news, no details released or anything like that. But we're going to have to just pay attention to what happens in the meantime. And if there's anything new that comes out, we're going to bring it forward and talk about it. Hopefully he didn't poo on anyone else again. Like, that's, I don't know. Poor Vinny. And that is it, guys. Another show is in the books. We hope you enjoyed our review. I can't believe I just said hope he didn't poo on anyone else. Anyway, we're gonna cut this off. We're gonna be back again in a couple of days with a review on the very first Monday Night Raw on Netflix. It was a big event. It was hyped up. Did it live up to it? We're gonna find out. Till next time, my name is Doug. I'm out.